Guys, I have a burden to bear that we need to get through first. I'd just like to take a moment to bring to light something very important to myself and to many other people here and to the Northern Territory and the Australian bodybuilding community. This next announcement is very emotional for me. Luke Wood, one of my best friends, one of my best mates, and a friend to many here, many competitors. He passed away due to complications to a kidney transplant just a few weeks ago. So a lot of you will remember 2 years ago Luke came up here at our NT Championships. He was due to guest pose when we had Ronnie Coleman up here, and he was due to guest pose with Ronnie. A few months out, he was telling me that he was feeling really tired and really weak, and after this going on for some time and his health not getting any better, he went to have some tests, and it turned out he only had 14% liver function. So Luke had to drastically change his diet, and the doctors told him that ultimately he needed to have a kidney transplant and needed to undergo dialysis. Luke somehow made it up here in 2009 that year, not only to support me and the show, but he wanted to apologise to you guys for not doing what he promised to do, which was to guest pose. I told him that coming up here and getting up and doing a guest pose was the least of his worries, and not to feel bad, but Luke's pretty funny about things like this. So he got up here and he was huge, and he was in amazing condition, and he made his apologies. He explained that he had some health issues and that he would be back bigger and better in the future. Luke didn't want anyone to worry about him, and there was only a few of us that knew how bad and how serious things really were. Since then, whenever there was a big show around the country, or we would always catch up. We'd stay in a hotel together. When he came to Darwin, he'd stay at my house with my family. And Luke judged the last two shows. He always supported Northern Territory bodybuilders and our sport up here in the Territory. Our Territory team has some great memories of Luke. We stayed with Luke as a team. He came and stayed at our hotel. We were staying in the Gold Coast when we were competing in Mark's Southern Hemisphere show in 2008. And I remember Luke was walking around the house. We were all in contest condition, and Luke was walking around the house in his jocks, and I dared him to jump in the lift and go down to the lobby and go and meet the other boys, and you don't dare him to do things like that. So down we go, and halfway down the Q1, the lift stops, and there's two very reserved young ladies. The door opened, they saw him and said, "It's okay, we'll take the next one." So Luke was due to be one of my groomsmen in my wedding to my wife in December last year. We got married in Bali, so Luke couldn't make it because he had to be on dialysis 2 times a week. He had to go to the hospital and sit there and get that done, so he was unable to make it. Luke loved my little girl Miami, who I think just walked up here, and always told me how lucky I was to have my wife and my family and my kids. And he had photos of my kids and Miami sitting on his lap, and he kept them on his phone, and he was without question one of the good guys. He ran really deep, but you know what, as amazing as a bodybuilder as Luke was, it paled into insignificance next to the human being that he was. Everybody loved Luke. This was what stood out for me. My wife, my family, all my friends, everybody that came across Luke just loved him. He had this awesome, big, dopey grin, and it was just so infectious. He always offered to help, and he was, nothing was too hard. He would give him the shirt off his back for anyone. And I never heard him say a bad word about any single person in this sport. Trust me, I see a lot of this, and I'm not guilty either. But I never saw Luke say a bad word about anyone. And he never complained once. Why me? Luke was very affectionate. He'd always hug me and tell me that he loved me, and he was never embarrassed about showing affection. He was a big, giant, gentle bear, and I take a lot of comfort knowing that he has taught me a lot of what it is to be a better man, things that are much more important than showing how macho you are or how much you can bench press. As it turns out, Luke was due to be married in 2 weeks from now to his lovely fiancée Nora. Instead of flying to his wedding, we all had to go, many of us here had to go early and go to the same church that he was due to be married in and attend his funeral. Luke's family have given me their blessing today to share with you a tribute that we have put together. It's just a small snapshot of his life, showing some great photos of him growing up with his amazing family, and there's some footage of him as a young kid and some footage of him competing as a professional bodybuilder. I'd like to thank Wayne from GMV and Wayne and Ollie from GMV Productions that have put together this for me, and I hope you enjoy it. To Luke, mate, I'll never forget you, and I'll miss you every day. Thank you very much.